We set up Ashby Connect. We felt Ashby was missing that.
And it's well attended.
It's very well attended, yeah. It's the feedback we get a lot, that people have made really good connections and they've ended up working together.
What a lot of companies are working towards now is a certification called Cyber Essential. It gives you a rubber stamp to say, we know we are meeting a good standard of cybersecurity.
With IT and AI, it's now taking longer to get a conveyance transaction through than it did 20 years ago. But just generally, we're having to do a lot more work on a transaction, on a matter, than we ever used to. Hello and welcome to another episode of Fishers on the Case. This is the podcast where we talk to professionals and those connected with law inside and out. My name's Amanda Payne. I'm the host of Fishers on the Case and CEO of Fishers Solicitors based in Ashby. Every month, Fishers Solicitors also has a networking event in Ashby. So if you're a business owner or professional local to us, make sure you check out Ashby Connect, which is on the last Wednesday of every month. More details are available on the Fishers website. So on to today. In today's episode, I'm pleased to introduce you to Tom Parkman from MT Services. MT Services, who supply technical support to local businesses. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. So before we get into sort of current day, I just want to go back a bit in your, maybe even into your childhood. So what did you want to be when you grew up? Did you have any ambition at that time?
Honestly, I wouldn't say I had a specific ambition.
Okay.
When I was younger. I like to still think I'm quite young.
Of course.
Perhaps I'm a little bit more foreign about it. I just wanted to do something that was going to make me money, if I'm honest.
No, that's fair enough.
That's what
that's
it was.
An honest answer.
So I studied A-levels like most people do, started university doing business.
Okay, you say started.
Yeah, that's where it goes.
I'm going to say you didn't finish then.
No,
Your degree or
no, I didn't finish it because the truth is I was motivated to get out there and work. Always wanted to get the money, and I'd met my now wife while I was in sixth form. So it was a case of I wanted to be able to go to work, make money, get our independence, sort of thing. So going to university every day I was struggling with it in terms of this is going to be years away, until I wanted something now because I was young and wanted to make that decision. So I was working nights at the time while I was at university, so I had something coming in. So I was working through the night and then
studying in the day.
Wow. So I used to drive to Leicester like that, trying to stay awake on the M69. After I finished the first year, I took the decision, this perhaps isn't the best thing anymore for me. I want to get into work. And I grew up around IT professionals. And so I already had a good grounding. And the truth is, all my teachers and associates always said to me, you should be doing IT. You shouldn't be doing anything else. You should be doing IT.
You had a natural flair for IT, do you think?
I think no one has a natural flair. I think it was more a fact that I was growing up around people that were already doing it. So I can remember doing commands MBT, things called MBT stat commands with my stepdad when I was 10, 11 years old.
Is that programming talk?
It's more networking, that is, effectively.
Okay.
Getting back to the story. So I decided to come away and thought I'll do what I know how to do. And I did a networking certification, and got my first job in IT, and that was 15 years ago.
Okay.
I spent a couple of years with my first MSP. And now I've been with MT Services for 13 years.
Okay. Can I ask, because to me there is a link. Are you a gamer, or were you a gamer?
I was. Yeah. I try and get away from the IT person stereotype where, we're in the dark corner, we don't talk to anybody. I think most people my generation were gamers, certainly were then. Now married with a child, certainly less so.
A lot less time for that.
Yeah, a lot less time. The weekends, days out, National Trust walks, finding ways to spend money, like most people are.
Yeah.
That's effectively it. But yeah, was historically a gamer. Yeah, still dabble. I'll admit. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say you're in IT, I guess there's lots of niche specialisms within that broad spectrum. Yeah. So what do you specialise in? What's your role?
So MSPs I would describe them as generalists in the sense that we focus on small and medium-sized businesses, which means we effectively do everything. So it'd be networking, it would be security, it would be the day-to-day administration. Me personally, my specialisation, more so infrastructure, networking, new business in the sense of new ways of doing things, new strategies for how we're using products and how we're going to implement products into customers. That's generally what I focus on now. It's looking at what's the new thing that's happening, what do we need to be conscious of, and how are we going to refine that and deliver that as a service to customers to make sure that we are continuing to be at the cutting edge.
Okay. So talking about new things coming then, I'm going to have to mention AI, aren't I?
I know it's going to come, yeah. Yeah.
So do you use that in your day job? Is it anything that you're starting to use at the moment?
Yeah.
To aid, what you do?
Yep. So in terms of how we're using it in the business, like most SMEs, we're not using it at a huge extent yet, and I'll qualify that why. I'll qualify why that is. I'm personally using it to fact check myself. When I say fact check, you always have to cross-reference sources. But if I'm looking into something new, I like to use AI to go, okay, how are other businesses using this? And I want to build, say, a complex infrastructure. Yes. In the old days, I'd be referring to things called like Microsoft white papers, where I'd be saying, is it supported to do this? Will it integrate with this system? Will it integrate with that? That can take a long time to go through, make sure everything's compliant, it's going to work together, it's going to glue together. And I'm utilising AI to basically filter out the noise and get straight to the point of, yes, it will. But I would say you can't take its word for it. You certainly have to cross-reference the sources, and if businesses are going to start using, particularly SMBs like us, you have to make sure you're using a product that's you're not putting company data out there into the public realm.
No, of course not. No.
So I would advise anyone, speak to you, right? If you want to start implementing AI or finding a way how you as a business can use it, speak to your IT company, speak to your MSP, and they can guide you through the process.
Just tell me what an MSP is. You're using short forms I might not be aware of.
So an MSP is a managed services provider, which is it's not really a modern term anymore. IT companies used to very much be break fix, where we would put in a solution, a box in the corner if you like, and it was, okay, you pay for that box, we'll support you with it, and move on. Let us know if it breaks. Managed service providers, the model really is to have proactive management of your entire IT infrastructure. The landscape is now completely different.
Right.
It's a case of most businesses have distributed cloud services. They've got remote access. They've got things that constantly need to be patched, to be managed, to meet in line with compliance requirements, to meet in line with certification requirements that they might want or need. And so it's really that move of, we're not just putting something in to make your business work, we're managing this for you, if you like, with the IT department of your business. And that's the transition to MSP.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Thank you for that explanation.
Not a problem.
I'm not that IT literate at all.
No.
I try to be, but it doesn't always work.
No.
Part of your role and sort of key phrases and words that I know are things like firewalls. Do they still exist as a blocker for?
Yeah. So firewalls are still relevant, whether they are on an on-premise network, physical network like we have here, or as in physically here, or in a cloud environment. Because if you have what's known as infrastructure, a server, that can be a physical server in a building, it can be a virtual server in a cloud environment. The firewall is there to effectively make sure whatever is coming in is being inspected. If it shouldn't be coming in, it gets blocked at source. So it's still very much a required piece of infrastructure.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And what about cybersecurity? What can businesses do to sort of prevent an attack?
Yeah.
Is there
key
takeaways here?
There is a huge amount that I don't want to scare people, but that there is a lot of things, because cybersecurity isn't just I've bought a product to protect the business and we're done. Cybersecurity branches into the products that you're using, the IT company and the third parties that you might work with that might have access to your business information. How are they structured? Are they liable to be subject to a vulnerability? User awareness training, making sure your staff are conscious of things that could be coming through. They know what to do and what not to do, how to identify spam emails, information not to hand over the phone. Even social engineering style attacks where somebody could walk through the door and pretend to be from a vendor and ask for information. But I would say the biggest one, the best simple step that businesses could make now is the transition from a traditional antivirus product, which we're all familiar with, to a product called EDR. Well, it's a group of products, and that's endpoint detection and response. And it does have AI built into it, but it also has a physical team behind it. The fundamental difference and why it's important, and the example I like to always use is antivirus. If you imagine antivirus software is as a person, it's somebody sat behind your computer looking over your shoulder, and when you go to download a file or open a file, it's looking at a list, allowed files and files we know are bad. Yeah. So I'm going to look down the list and say the file you're about to open is bad, so block it. Or the file you're about to open is okay. We don't know about it, then you're allowed to open it.
Okay.
Where that falls short is not sure if you heard the term of 0-day threats.
No.
So 0-day threats now are vulnerabilities in systems and services that we aren't aware of until they are used maliciously. And this is probably the biggest threat, I would say, to small, medium-sized businesses. What EDR does differently is, rather than use a list of is that file okay or is it not okay, it actually watches how everything interacts with the system. So let's say you go to open a file.
Yeah.
A traditional antivirus would say, I don't recognise that file, so feel free to do what you want with it. An EDR system will say, right, you're opening a file, and this is the person stood behind now. He doesn't have the piece of paper. He's actually watching what you're doing in this. Yeah. He's watching and he's saying, okay, you're opening that file. What's it doing? Okay, it's executing a program. It's interfacing with things, system faults it shouldn't be. So it's actually tracing what that file is doing through the system. And if it says you're touching system files that you simply shouldn't be accessing, so it will then block it down.
It'll shut it down.
That will shut it down. That's how we protect against.
And this all happens in seconds, doesn't it? All this.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Which is
it's incredible,
amazing,
actually,
isn't it? Yeah.
Because we work with a number of partners in terms of the EDR products, and we test everything to make sure everything's compliant. And so I've done a number of tests where I'll try and do something to trigger an EDR response. And when you see what it does...
You'll be a hacker.
What you see what... I can try. Yeah. What it does in the background is incredible.
Yeah, amazing.
It certainly gives you peace of mind, but I would argue nothing's perfect.
No, and I think it's hard to stay ahead of these fraudsters, isn't it? And they keep coming up with all these new ways of getting into systems, don't they? And
I mean, everybody...
It's evolving all the time, isn't it?
It is, and everybody needs to be motivated and incentivised to be vigilant with who you're talking to. The emails that are coming in, the files that you're downloading and opening, because the fallout can be catastrophic. It can cost you thousands in time, depending on the sort of business that you are, while you're waiting for systems to be restored.
How long does it normally take for a restore to take place? Is there an average? If anything were to happen to anybody? And
it very much depends on the backup system that the business has in place. So let's say, for example, you had a traditional system that was taking backups. It could be backups to the cloud, and most good backup systems would have ransomware protection built into them. So if there was a ransomware attack on your network, your backup files aren't going to be infected by them. In that scenario where you need to download a file and recover a server physically, that can be hours, up to days.
Okay.
There are other alternatives where there are backup products where it will constantly take images of your system onto another protected server, and if something happens, we effectively roll up your backed up copy of that server, which could have been from minutes ago, so you can carry on.
So the user might not even know.
Oh, I wouldn't sell it at that level, to be honest. But yeah, we could have it rolled up in minutes, so you as a business can carry on.
Okay.
While we recover the physical server effectively. The difference is investment. It's companies need to look at the business continuity plans, the disaster recovery plans with their MSPs. In terms of, you need to look at what would it cost you if your system was off for X amount of time, and balance that against how much you're going to be investing in your IT infrastructure. And it ends up being an easier decision, because these higher level backup solutions, they can look like quite a lot of money on paper, but when you balance it against what the risk of loss is, it can be an easier conversation to have. Yeah.
And have you got a favourite part of being an IT engineer and a services technician? Is there a favourite part of the job?
You know what? Yeah, it's not so much about technology. I've been doing this since I was quite young, and it's not necessarily again about the technology, about the IT. When I was young, getting started, and I was thrown out there in the field. With IT, you're going out there and you're seeing businesses and you're speaking to people. It can be intimidating. It can be nerve-wracking for a new person doing that, because with IT, you're generally dealing with people at board level, people at a high level. And you have to sort of see through, or I guess read between the lines a bit in terms of what the advantage to that is. The biggest thing I've gained is talking to people over the years. Your biggest weapon as a service provider are your ears, because you're going to be talking to business leaders that have been through challenges, they've been through changes, and I'm talking as if I was talking to someone that was getting into it. I would say your biggest weapon is your ears. Listen to everybody. These people that you're providing a service to, they've been through bigger challenges than you, because if they're coming to you, they've generally already got a matured, sustained business. There's something you can learn from these people, personally and professionally. And I've been lucky that throughout the years I've dealt with some really interesting people from that perspective. Listen to people, listen to what they have to tell you, listen about their challenges, about their businesses, because it helps you refine how you deal with them, how you would recommend how they move forward, technologically and structurally from a technology perspective. That's probably the thing I enjoy most, is meeting the new people, even now, meeting new people and hoping to learn something from them effectively. MT's a really old business. It's 50 years old.
Is that old for a business? Not as old as Fisher's.
Well, no, you're quite right, actually. No, for an IT business.
For an IT business, yeah.
It's over 50 years old, actually, and we've still got some people that have been there for most of that time.
Wow.
And so when I say, listening to people and learning from people, that happens internally as well. There are people at MT that have been there over 40 years that will taught me when to talk, more importantly, when to shut up.
Yes.
How to speak to people, how to present cases properly. And it's not a case that they sit in front of you and say, you need to do this, you need to do that. You should be taking the opportunity to listen, take it upon yourself to listen and learn the lesson they're giving you organically. Any service-based role when you're out in the field, that's the advantage to gain, and that's the biggest thing I've taken away.
So what age do people start in your industry? I'm imagining it's quite a young age, apprenticeships and people finishing A-levels and coming into the workplace.
Yeah.
at that sort of age?
Yeah, you can get a mixture really. Predominantly, it's young people.
Yeah.
So you're going to get people coming in via apprenticeship routes.
Yeah.
You do occasionally have graduates coming through into the MSP world. But yeah, it is generally younger people. And it's a great thing for young people to get into as well, because you get engineered by the people around you, by your customers, by your colleagues. Without you even thinking about it, you get refined to work in a way that makes you a valuable resource.
Yeah.
Effectively.
Yeah. So what motivates you to sort of get up every day and get on with a day job?
Probably the relationships.
Okay.
Yeah, because I enjoy the technology, always have enjoyed the technology. I like being able to solve a problem in a new way, to convert an idea into something that we can commercialise and we can solve a problem for a customer with.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing which feels like a win is the relationship that you get with your clients. Some of our customers we've had for 20,
For a long
30
time.
years.
Yeah.
And
Grown with them.
Yeah, grown with them. There's trust there. And that really feels like, we're doing something right. We're doing something good because the trust is there, the relationship is there. And that's something that I would argue sets us apart from a lot of MSPs. One thing our senior leadership would say is that we're small enough to care but big enough to deliver. Because a lot of MSPs, including us, are moving into models where you have to have a lot of policy and procedure, a lot of standardisation, a lot of data-driven ways forward. And it's not just MSPs, a lot of businesses are going that way. You have to, but also keep that flexibility so you can break the rules a little bit for the benefit of the customer. And that's something we've found that balance with. It's not like, I can't do that for you today, Mr. Customer, because you've got to follow this procedure. You've got to go through level 1 through level 2 before we can do that. You can break that away.
Yeah.
And that's worth its weight in gold if you can make sure you don't over-proceduralise yourself. That's what I'd say.
And talking about your customers, what's the smallest kind of business size you might have? I'm just thinking here about sole traders or people with, 2 or 3 employees. Is that some, an organisation of that size that you would look after?
Admittedly, nowadays less so. We certainly wouldn't turn anybody away. I would say we do have some. It's more at the lower end is probably 5 to 10.
Okay.
I would say 5 to 10 at the lower end, and then into the hundreds for the
as
largest.
well.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, is probably the scale.
So another aspect, I suppose, to the IT world is thinking about data and data protection and the rules and the laws and the obligations that we're all under.
Yeah.
If someone was to sort of, lose that data, have you ever had that sort of experience and then with a customer, and then what have you done to sort of get over that?
Yeah, so we have had that happen.
Have you?
Yeah.
Right.
It does happen. It's not something we can pretend that it never does happen. In terms of the consequences, I know you know the answer to this already. If you lose customer data as per a cyber incident, obviously you're falling out of compliance with GDPR. You fall under obligation to report yourself to the ICO.
Yes.
You have to demonstrate that you're taking proper remedial steps. You can be subject to a substantial fine as well nowadays. That are the legal implications. In terms of the practical implications, I mean, it can be reputational.
Yeah, it can really be damaging, can't it, for a firm?
Of course it can, yeah. I mean, if you're having to explain to your customers, particularly as an SMB, because we see this commonly in the larger multinational companies.
We've seen it in retail, haven't we, with Harrods and
Marks
and Spencers and the Co-op and various organisations like that, obviously on a big scale.
We certainly have.
Huge, and that, I think, really did affect their businesses, didn't they?
Yeah, it did. It's interesting, actually. A lot of people ask me the question in terms of Harrods and M&S. In these particular... It's like, why can a business that big that must be investing millions in their IT infrastructure and security, how can they be subject to...
How can it happen in the first place?
How can it happen to them?
Yeah.
The truth behind it is, in more cases, it's actually their integration with a third-party vendor. And this was the case with Harrods, this was the case with M&S in particular. They're dealing with a third-party company. That third-party company is providing a service, has access into their systems.
Okay.
It was a third-party company that
let them down.
That effectively let them down and were the gatekeepers to the system.
So how do you change that going forward when you still want to have a relationship with that third-party company?
Yeah.
Is it just about putting different processes and plans in place? Is there anything you can do to control it?
There is. The best thing you should be doing is vetting your third-party vendors, making sure what certifications do you have, what compliance do you have, putting down on paper what systems do you have access to deliver this service effectively. And what a lot of companies are working towards now is a certification called Cyber Essentials. This is becoming more and more common in our market. And the idea behind Cyber Essentials is, first of all, it gives you peace of mind. It gives you a rubber stamp to say, we know we are meeting a good standard of cybersecurity, cyber resilience. It's something you can show to your partners, something you can show to your clients. What's happening increasingly, particularly for government contracts, if you're going to have a B2B, a business-to-business relationship with somebody else, you can say you can work with us, but you have to have Cyber Essentials. Effectively. So that's how that certification is spreading through our size business, our market effectively. It's more common, I would argue, in manufacturing from the perspective of making sure your contractors and your partners have that certification. But it's certainly something we should all be. I
know it's on our agenda. It's been on the agenda for a while. But something we're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Anything you want to ask me, Tom, about me or Fishers or anything? I've asked a few questions today. I'm going to turn the tables if there's anything you want to ask me.
Yeah, I mean, we've dealt with... I think the legal landscape has changed, and I wanted to ask you about this because we've dealt with a lot of different law firms, if I'm honest. It just seems to be something with... I wouldn't say that's our vertical, that's what we specialise in, but I would say we've just gravitated towards them naturally, probably because they're the right size, probably because we know how to work with them because we've dealt with a number of them before. I can remember working at particular law firms, probably going back only 10 or 11 years. And it was always very big, scary mahogany offices. And so you turn up at reception and you would say, I'm here to see Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
And you have a reception, Mr. Smith. Oh, have you got an appointment? Are you sure? Okay, wait here then. And, Mr. Smith. And you can hear this growling from behind the door. And it was quite intimidating. And that seems to have changed.
We're more relaxed.
Yeah, very much more
approachable and friendly.
Yeah. And open plan offices, much more modern. And I don't know what you think. Is that a result of a need to be more modern, more competitive now? What do you think?
I think so, definitely. I like the way that's changed. I think it's much better for working practices.
Yeah.
Creates a better culture within the firm and certainly within Fishers.
Yeah.
We've moved to this building in 2019. Before that, we were in some old premises where a lot of people had their individual offices where your Mr. Smith would have been working. So, no, it's been great. It's been a great transformation. It's one of the good things that's happened to the legal industry in recent years. You just feel a lot more together. Yeah, definitely. Really good positive change. Yeah. Much better way of being able to work and more cross-department work as well, I think, as a result of open plan working.
And how would you say conveyancing has changed? Because I think I've noticed...
How have you got? It's changed an awful lot, an absolute awful lot.
I was going from the angle of it seems that the expectations have changed in the sense that everything has to be faster now. People want the completions faster.
They do.
It seems to be quantity over quality. What?
Yeah, definitely. And in fact, you wouldn't really believe that with IT and AI coming and everything else that's evolved in the last 20 years, it's now taking longer to get a conveyance transaction through than it did 20 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it's we have a lot more compliance put on us, which a lot of the general public will not know about, the work that we have to do, the administrative work we have to do, which is all taking a long time. And I think the entrance into the market of non-solicitor firms, so practices that set up being able to handle conveyancing where a lot of the day-to-day staff are not qualified. And I think that has had an impact on the industry in terms of speed. But just generally, we are having to do a lot more work on a transaction, on a matter than we ever used to.
Yeah.
Which is, this is why it seems to be slowing down.
Another question I wanted to ask
yes.
if it's okay. Something which we are spoilt with a little bit in the MSP and IT world is we have a lot of networking events in terms of industry partnerships. So we can go out there and we can always find out at these events what's happening, what's coming, what we need to be conscious of.
Yeah.
We find companies to work with.
Yeah, we have the same.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Is that something that
yeah,
Fishes
there's lots of
engages
legal expos and associated conferences and seminars that we can go to, and then at the breakout times and lunch times there's all people demonstrating what's coming in the law in terms of products and services that lots of people are offering. But generally marketing, we set up Ashby Connect, and it's especially post-COVID when a lot of networking groups locally never, came back again. We felt Ashby was missing that, so we set up our own networking group called Ashby Connect,
and
which
it's well attended.
It's very well attended. Yeah, have you been along yet? Yeah, I know you were thinking of coming. You came along.
We have been along, yeah.
And you met some new people, and
we did. We met some new people. We had some really good conversations.
Good chats,
yeah.
And has that led into anything more? Any further talks or not yet?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Interestingly, there is one. Don't really want to go into detail
No,
about.
of course not. No, just generally. No, that's really good to hear.
It is.
It's the feedback we get a lot, that people have made really good connections and then taken it further, and they've ended up working together. So that's fantastic.
I was pleased with how it went. There were some really interesting people there. I like that. A particular company does a talk as well.
Yeah, good.
It was a nice smaller scale. Than some of these,
and very casual. It's just about people getting to know each other and mingling, isn't it? And seeing where they can help each other out. Yeah. So no, that's great. I'm really pleased to hear you got something out of it. That's brilliant.
We
really
did.
Good. So hopefully you'll come again.
We are going to continue attending.
Yeah, brilliant.
There's certainly value in it.
Yeah, lovely. Well, thank you very much, Tom, for coming to join us today and telling us all about your career and your role.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.